Calm, powerful, and slightly majestic intro music begins, then fades to a low, atmospheric background from the very first spark of tamed fire. From the moment our ancestors painted their stories onto the silent walls of ancient caves, the great journey of civilization began. This is not just a story of dates and events, it's a saga of survival, of breathtaking creativity, and of a curiosity that has driven us to question everything, to explore every horizon. It's the story of us. Imagine, thousands of years ago, life flourishing along the banks of great rivers. In Mesopotamia, nestled between the Tigris and Euphrates, the first cities rose, and with them, the first laws, the first written words. Along the life-giving Nile, the civilization of ancient Egypt emerged, building monuments that defied time, pyramids reaching for eternity, guided by pharaohs and a complex belief in the afterlife. Far to the east, in the Indus Valley, mysterious and meticulously planned cities like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa thrived, their script still a puzzle. Their culture a testament to advanced urban planning. And in ancient China, along the Yellow River, dynasties rose and fell, forging a civilization built on philosophy, art, and scientific innovations that would ripple across the globe for centuries to come. These were the cradles, the nurseries of our shared human story. But the spirit of progress is restless. It cannot be contained by riverbanks or deserts. From these ancient hearts, ideas and people began to spread, weaving a more complex tapestry of human experience. On the rocky shores of the Aegean Sea, the Greeks began to ask profound questions. They gave us the concept of democracy, the rigors of philosophy with minds like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, and the beauty of theater and sculpture that still defines Western aesthetics. They taught us to seek knowledge for its own sake. Then came the Romans. With unparalleled military might and engineering genius, they forged an empire that stretched from the misty isles of Britain to the sands of the Middle East. They were the master builders of the ancient world. Their roads, aqueducts, and legal systems were more than just infrastructure. They were the arteries of a connected world, spreading language, culture, and governance across 3 continents. The Pax Romana, 2 centuries of relative peace, allowed for an unprecedented exchange of goods and ideas. The Roman legacy is etched into the foundations of our modern cities and legal codes. Meanwhile, across the vast, uncharted Atlantic, entirely different worlds were taking shape. In the dense jungles of Mesoamerica, the Mayan civilization flourished. They were brilliant astronomers, mathematicians who conceived of the number 0 independently, and architects of magnificent cities like Tikal and Chichén Itzá, their pyramids temples to the cosmos. Further north, the formidable Aztecs built their sprawling capital, Tenochtitlan, on an island in a lake, a marvel of engineering and social organization. And high in the Andes Mountains, the Inca Empire carved an empire out of the very rock, connecting it with a sophisticated network of roads and creating a society of remarkable complexity and control. These civilizations of the Americas, developed in isolation, show the incredible diversity and ingenuity of the human spirit. As the Roman Empire in the West crumbled, Europe entered a period often called the Middle Ages. It was an age defined by faith, feudalism, and the rise of powerful kingdoms. Grand cathedrals reached for the heavens, physical manifestations of spiritual devotion. Monasteries became vital centers of learning, preserving the knowledge of the ancient world through painstaking transcription. Knights in shining armor and epic tales of chivalry captured the popular imagination. But this era was not static. It was a crucible, forging new languages, new identities, and the foundations of the nations we know today. And then, out of this period, a new light began to dawn in Italy. We call it the Renaissance, or rebirth of art, science, and the very idea of human potential. Artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo looked at the human form and the natural world with fresh eyes, creating masterpieces that pulsed with life and emotion. Scientists like Copernicus and Galileo dared to look at the heavens and challenge long-held beliefs, shifting our place in the universe. A renewed interest in the classical texts of Greece and Rome fueled a revolution in thought, placing humanity back at the center of its own story. This explosion of curiosity could not be contained. Inspired by new technologies like the compass and the caravel, and driven by a desire for wealth and glory, European explorers set sail across unknown seas. Columbus, Vasco da Gama, Magellan, their voyages redrew the maps of the world, connecting continents in ways never before imagined. This age of discovery initiated a global exchange of plants, animals, cultures, technologies, and ideas. But it was also a period of immense conflict and conquest, as empires rose on the foundation of this new global network, often at a terrible cost to indigenous peoples. The world was becoming smaller, but also more complex and contested. The ground was set for another seismic shift. The age of revolution was dawning. In America, colonists fought for independence, championing the radical idea that governments derive their power from the consent of the governed. In France, cries for liberty, equality, fraternity toppled a monarchy and sent shockwaves across Europe. These political revolutions were fueled by the Enlightenment, an intellectual movement that championed reason, individual rights, and skepticism of traditional authority. Thinkers like John Locke, Voltaire, and Rousseau laid the philosophical groundwork for modern democracy. At the very same time, another, quieter revolution was transforming the fabric of daily life. The Industrial Revolution, beginning in Great Britain, harnessed the power of steam and iron. Factories replaced cottage industries, and cities swelled with people seeking work. The steam engine powered trains and ships, shrinking distances and accelerating the pace of life. This was an age of invention, of mass production, and of immense new wealth. But it also created new social challenges: overcrowding, pollution, and stark inequalities that would define the political struggles of the next century. The pace of change only quickened. The modern age arrived with a flash of light. Thomas Edison's light bulb banished the night, electricity powered our homes and cities, and the telegraph and telephone connected us in an instant. The Wright brothers gave us the gift of flight, conquering the skies and making the world even smaller. But this era also brought unprecedented global conflict to world wars that engulfed the planet, demonstrating humanity's terrifying capacity for destruction, but also our incredible resilience and ability to rebuild. And that brings us to now. Today, we live in the information era. The digital revolution, born from the silicon chip, has put the sum of human knowledge in the palm of our hands. The internet connects billions of us in a global network, transcending borders and cultures. We are more connected, more informed, and more aware of our shared destiny than ever before in our long history. Yet, as we stand at this pinnacle of technological achievement, we find ourselves grappling with the same timeless questions our ancestors pondered around their first fires. Who are we? Where did we come from? And, most importantly, where are we going? The story of civilization is not a closed book. It's not something you just find in a museum or a history text. It is a living, breathing narrative that is still being written. Every scientific discovery, every artistic creation, every act of kindness and cooperation, every challenge we overcome, from climate change to social justice, is a new sentence. A new paragraph in the next chapter of our epic, shared human story. Music swells, visuals shift to a montage of human achievement, ending with a view of Earth from space, from that first, flickering flame that pushed back the darkness to the glowing screens that connect our world today. This has been the journey of us all. This is the story of civilization. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey through time. If you found this story as fascinating as we do, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the past. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What part of human history fascinates you the most? Until next time, stay curious.